Take it away. Take it away. We don't want to struggle no more. In this video, I'm going to debunk and tear apart a lot of normalized things that we as Black women endure just to prove our worthiness. Okay? Things that are normalized but aren't normal and shouldn't be any longer. All my life, I had to fight. Yo, when y'all want to stop fighting? Because I've given up. Some of the things that Black women endure, or what we call normal, are actually warning signs. My name is Ashanti, also known as Shantiani. I am a meteorologist, a climatologist, a linguist, a singer, a dancer, and a world traveler. And on this channel, I share my journey back to self through science, nature, travel, and intentional living. Okay? But still, intentional, ladies. Now, this isn't about blame, it's just about awareness, right? Sign number one that something not right. You're constantly fatigued, babes. Being tired is not a personality trait. Now, I know the dwarves, they got one of them called sleepy, but you ain't a dwarf, baby. You're not a cartoon. You are a human being. And if you're tired all the time, then you probably need to reevaluate something, whether it's your sleep schedule, whether it's the people around you, whether it's yourself. Okay? Something is not right. For me personally, most prominently, what I can remember is, like I said before in the previous video, I'm a veteran and they just do things to you, right? Over in the military, right? And a lot of things that ain't normal are normalized. And one of them being, I feel like I was an imposter, not like a wolf in sheep's clothing, but like the opposite. If you know, you know. Just pretending to care about things that I don't care about, being misaligned with my personal values and beliefs, for a mission, for a paycheck. But I also noticed that in my civilian life as well, in the jobs that I've taken on too. It's like, my motives were not lining up with the company's motives, and that drains you. It gave me a lot of anxiety, but I'm working through that, trying to figure out how to not constantly be in that state, because you don't have to be. And a lot of things that Black women do and show up as and endure are signs of anxiety. And, it's not always pinpointed in mainstream psychology, because they kind of manifest differently for us, and we get called out for being things that we're not, like being combative when you're just standing up for yourself, or being nonchalant when something actually doesn't fucking matter and people are trying to tell you that it does. So on and so forth. So that's an invitation to reevaluate and reassess and to realign, because chronic anxiety and vigilance are just silent killers, quite frankly. Silent killers. A lot of our mamas and grandmothers, are ailed in some kind of way, whether it's high blood pressure or it's diabetes, it's thyroid problems, it's hip problems, it's chronic inflammation, it's fatigued. Those are all indicators. Okay. No mas. And that just indicates that you are in a constant state of survival mode. Whew. Stomach problems. If you have stomach problems, it might be connected to, nerves, anxiety. I am one of the stomach problem girlies. I have IBS. And if it wasn't for my IBS, I probably would not have even noticed that something needed to change in my life. It's not fun to have, but my stomach is always my first indication to assess what's going on in my life. And it's actually twofold, because my stomach starts acting up. And when I say stomach starts acting up, I mean emergency trip to the bathroom, angry poop. And when that happens, it can happen whether I'm like nervous or there's like a negative connotation to it, or I'm really excited about something and there's a positive connotation to it. It's actually really annoying. But child, if you are eating things and immediately you have turbulence throughout your digestive system as it's processing through your body, you might want to reevaluate that, whether it's the item, whether it's, your environment, but it is a red flag. Okay. And stress does live in the gut. It does. the mind to stomach connection that people talk about, that's real. That's very real. And we got to stop normalizing having digestive issues. You might not even call them digestive issues because you don't even register them as such, but they are issues. Ooh, over giving and doing emotional labor for other people. I am so susceptible to this. I don't want to say guilty because there's no guilt, there's no shame here. It's just, how life has unfolded and unfurled, and we're just trying to fold it back up in a shape that we lack. Boundaries, setting boundaries, and accepting when something is just not yours to remedy. It is a huge lesson that I've learned over the last year, and I'm so happy because I am delivered. That is why I'm speaking to you today from desde Colombia, después de Brasil. Okay? So free. Let other people's problems go. If they are a grown person capable of making the decisions that they're making that may be detrimental to them, you got to let them, because they're on the flip side just as capable of making good decisions for their own good. Amen. Okay. Ooh, hustling, hustle culture, hustling through exhaustion, productivity replacing rest. Rest is actually productivity. It really is. Believe me when I say this, okay? As somebody who went to the military, put themselves through college through the military, got scholarships, flew out the BAM, was a model, stay with a job, don't got a job right now. You are more productive when you are well rested. Prioritize that, baby. Sleep, number one priority for me now. Oh my God. I love her. I love me some sleep because, I mean, you could look into the science. A lot of things happen scientifically in the brain. Synapses firing and things melding together when you sleep. But also, just sometimes I have this thing where I want to like push through a problem. I want to solve it in one session, and that's just, it's actually counterproductive in so many ways. Just try taking a nap one time. You're sitting there working on something and you're like, I just can't get through this, or you feel your body like begging you to take a nap. Take a nap. I bet you the same problem will be there when you wake up, and you might just have a lot more energy and creativity and whatever else you need to get through it. Okay. This is a big one. Ignoring the pain, the stiffness, and inflammation in your body. Ignoring bodily signals. It is not normal to be walking around in pain. We got to address these things. And a lot of times it's from, the types of jobs that we have, being sedentary all the time. Believe it or not, when I was in the Air Force, my jobs were mostly desk jobs. Like, yes, I had to do physical training on stuff, but they did not counteract the detriment that desk jobs had on my body. So hips became weak, back became weak, core just non-existent, knees start popping, ankles ain't working, foot just cracking and whatever. We got to take care of our bodies by moving them. And not only by moving them, but moving them properly, learning the proper ways and methods to do certain things, how to have proper posture, how to engage your core properly, and, to not let other muscles overcompensate for weak areas in our body. That is a huge one I am learning right now. I have a lot of issues where I lose feeling in my like arms and legs and stuff. And but the arms one is like crazy, right? Because like, come on now, I'm doing something. I'm trying to do something here. And my arms are like, bye. And part of that is just because my core had become so deactivated that for some reason, like my traps started taking over my core and my back. So my traps started taking over, but then it got really tight because it's also where I hold a lot of my stress, all of my stress. Well, no, I hold it in my hips too. But a lot of my stress I hold here and I get tight. We don't even notice that we're like bracing a lot of the time. Breathe, but also work those back muscles so that your traps and your neck don't overcompensate for the weakness everywhere else. And then start creating pressure points where you start to lose feeling in other parts of your body. If you know, you know. Mental health, my God. We kind of talked about this before because with anxiety, but just in general, take that seriously. And if you can afford it, if you can afford it, please, get a mental health care provider, somebody who sees you entirely, though, not someone who read about your experience in a book, but somebody who actually knows and can see the signs in you for different types of mental health issues. Because, yeah, it's hard out here. Okay. And we be needing somebody unbiased, somebody who's a professional. But if you can't get like a regular doctor, then there's all types of healers and energy workers out there. Whatever works for you, baby. Open your Bible, something. But take care of your mental health in a way that is well rounded and balanced. Okay. You can't just base your reality only on your internal world. You have to balance it with what's happening externally too. But all in all, your body is communicating with you constantly. And ignoring it, that is learned behavior. We got to stop doing that. Unlearn that shit. Oh, baby. It is so much better on this side, too. So if any of this resonates with you, feel free to subscribe, to stick around, to leave a comment, leave a like, share with a friend, and stay tuned for more because, oh my gosh, I have so many cool things in store for you guys. So many. Thanks for watching. Ciao.